like to call the first public hearing to order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Reynolds. Councilor McLaughlin. Councilor Emmons.
Here.
Councilor Walker. Councilor Gosick.
Here.
Councilor Van Buren.
Here.
Councilor Cordino.
Here.
All present.
The first public hearing is regarding the proposed amendments to the Code of the City of Oswego, Chapter 249, Vacant and Occupied Property Maintenance, Section 249.7, Dumpster Requirements and Permit Fees. There's nobody signed up to speak. Would anybody in the audience like to speak regarding the dumpster requirements and permit fees? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn the first public hearing. Councilor Van Buren, Councilor Walker. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Reynolds. Councilor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Councilor Emmons.
Yes.
Councilor Walker. Councilor Gosick.
Yes.
Councilor Van Buren.
Yes.
Councilor Cordino.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Public hearing is adjourned. The second public hearing starts at 7:10. I'd like to call the second public hearing to order. Will clerk please call the roll?
Councilor Reynolds.
Here.
Councilor McLaughlin.
Here.
Councilor Emmons.
Here.
Councilor Walker. Councilor Gosick.
Here.
Councilor Van Buren. Councilor Cordino.
Here.
All present.
The second public hearing is regarding the proposed change of zone for certain property located in the 7th Ward from an R2 residential district to a B2 central business district from a petition from Paul and Tina Sawyer. There's nobody signed up to speak. I will let the city attorney, Kevin Caracoli, speak more in depth about this.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I am recommending that the council consider tabling Resolution 274 that proposes to change the R2 zone in and around Mark Fitzgibbons Drive and West Fifth Street Road, that neighborhood, from R2 to B2. The reason for doing that is a couple-fold. Number one, R2 zone is a relatively low-impact zone in the city of Oswego. It's primarily designed for for residences, the things that are permitted by right in an R2 zone are one-family dwellings, schools, religious institutions, and agricultural uses. And if you look at that neighborhood, that's exactly what we have. We have the middle school, we have the church next to it, we have the ball fields behind that, and the Curtis Manor site that we're talking about here for the intended use was an agricultural use, still is, but what it's being proposed to be changed to would be more in line with the B2 district. However, when you look at the B2 district, if you were to allow the change in the zone, you would be allowing the following permitted uses in that neighborhood: retail stores and retail services, business offices, restaurants and bars, hotels, motels, community centers, indoor recreation, clubs, funeral homes, in addition to the other uses that are there. So I don't want my proposal to be misconstrued as objecting to the use or the proposed use that the Sawyers in particular have and they've made here. I think it's frankly worthy of consideration by the Zoning Board of Appeals by way of a use variance. So what that would do is allow the use that they're proposing to be created, developed in that neighborhood without opening up all of those additional uses to that neighborhood. It would be very specific. The neighbors would know exactly what they are getting by way of the proposal. And there is a certain criteria that the Sawyers would have to meet, but I would submit that the criteria isn't that much more strenuous or difficult. They have to still go through the same process, so they're not losing any time. They still, even if you were to adopt a zone change tonight, they have to go forward, submit an application to the planning board, the zoning board, have a public hearing, all up on the third floor, not the second floor. So they're not losing any ground by you tabling it. In the same sense, I would encourage them to make an application to the zoning department for a use variance and then allow their intended use to go forward that way. So I'm happy. I know this is a public hearing and debate isn't necessarily allowed or required, but if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them from the council. Yes, typically variances do go for the property forever. And that's an important point I'm glad you brought up, because the specific use that they would be proposing would be, to, as I understand it, to turn the barn into an event center of some sort. So it could only be used for that purpose as a result of that application. If somebody else wanted to come in, let's say they sold the property or whatever, for whatever reason their plan didn't work out, and somebody else came in to use it, they could use it for that, but they couldn't use it for another use that's not allowed without going through the process. So that's yet another safeguard, Counselor, that I'm glad you brought up. Thank you.
All these other options you brought up that might be available after you okay this,
Yeah,
they can be turned down, can't they?
certainly.
That's not necessarily given.
Oh, it's not a given. Not a given at all. I'm just saying it's an alternative that, in my opinion, is better than a complete zone change. So,
Kevin, the doctor, my son is a little,
what do you mean? He brought me into the world.
I'm Dr. Joseph Mather, and my property adjoins, I think, what is the property described. My question first is, does that property that they're looking for the zoning change include the property both on north and south of Fitzgibbons Drive? That is,
It would entail the entire property. I don't know how many acres it is. Maybe Mr. Cardino has a better understanding, but it's...
I don't have the paperwork.
It's the, I'd only be guessing, but it's at least about a 10 acre. Okay. Right. The Sawyers aren't there, right?
Isn't it the property to the south of Fitzgibbons Drive, not to the north?
The property is not to the north.
No, I remember that on the map, it was property to the south of Fitzgibbons Drive.
It absolutely is to the south.
Yes.
Okay.
It doesn't adjoin your
Then
property.
it does
I know-
not adjoin my property.
No, not at all.
So I have no objection.
Nice to see you.
Like if the word immediately adjoining it, it would decrease the value of my property. But thank you very much.
For a B2 central business district, doesn't it have to be 10 acres minimum for the bulk? I pulled that from the city code. And that's only 8.5 to 9 acres.
Yeah, it's close, and I don't know the zoning folks are here, but it's yet another reason, from my perspective, that we can, the applicants can get a fair hearing on what they're looking to do without going through the zone change and actually applying for a use variance.
And what are they looking to do? Couldn't find any information on that.
Essentially, as I understand it, taking primarily the barn area and converting it into an event center, if you will, catering parties. They would use a portion of it for storage, self-storage, and things of that nature. Frankly, much of the use that's occurring now, other than they would be then inviting people onto the property if we wanted to hold a wedding reception or something of that nature on the grounds. That's their general plan. But keep in mind, even if this board were to go forward with the zone change tonight, they still have to go through the application process. This would not be a done deal by any means tonight. And if you follow my recommendation, they won't be going through the zone change. They'll go through a use variance application, and that'll go through the same process. And you'd have a chance, as with Dr. Mather or anybody else, to come in and let the zoning board and planning board know their thoughts on proposed use.
Has anybody looked into like the traffic flow and what it will do to our property?
We haven't gotten to that point yet. And again, all the more reason why
So wait.
the zone change is not necessarily, in my opinion, the best solution for that neighborhood. It's to go forward, isolating that one property and allowing a use variance to go forward, that application process. Again, and as Mr. Becker pointed out, it's not a done deal.
Yep.
It's still a high criteria they have to meet, but I do think that they have a fair chance of meeting that criteria, but certainly the concerns of the neighborhood have to be taken into consideration.
All right.
Ben?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My name is Ben Culp. I live at 5 Primrose Path, which is in the same neighborhood of the middle school and this property. I'd like to thank City Attorney Caracoli. It sounds like this idea of encouraging the owners to pursue a variance instead of a full zoning change gives a lot more protection to the neighborhood, and is looking forward to the possibility of if this owner ever wants to sell. I like the idea that it's not suddenly a business district in the middle of this otherwise residential neighborhood. So I hope you'll consider his suggestion.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? Just so you know, we're talking about the property. The number usually doesn't mean anything to me. When you go down West 5th Street, you take a left on Fitzgibbons Drive, heading to the middle school. It's that first property on the right-hand side. If nobody else would like to address the council, I'll take a motion to adjourn the public hearing. Councilor Van Buren, Councilor Walker. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Walker. Counselor Gosick.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Public hearing is adjourned, and I'll now open the public session, if I can get the list. Thank you. I have 6 speakers signed up to speak. I ask that when I call your name to speak, please step up and speak into the microphone and state your name and address, and please, if you can, keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. First speaker signed up is Andrew Roth.
Good evening. My name is Lieutenant Junior Grade Andrew Roth. I'm with the U.S. Naval Sea Cadets, Oswego, New York. I presently reside in Fulton, but we work out of Oswego. I have this proposal to the Common Council to allow the U.S. Naval Sea Cadet Corps, Truxton Division, Oswego, New York, who was founded by Fred Crucifoli originally, for our overnight drills once again. What I'm asking when I say overnight drills is not to sleep in the building overnight, but to train in the building overnight. What I mean by this is we will train our cadets on some very importance of watch standing, so we will be awake all night, so the designation of the building does not need to be changed, or the codes, such as for a hotel or house dwellings, none of that should come in play, because we will be training, not sleeping. It will only be 9 times a year. It'll be the following months: January, February, March, April, May, August, September, October, and November. The Sea Cadets were granted this permission back in 2004 and stayed overnight in the McCroby building for 12 years, and now all of a sudden they are not allowed to. I've spoken to the mayor about this matter, and also to Fire Chief Griffin, also Tom Kells, and tried to contact the Code Enforcement Office, Susan Deary. I've spoken briefly with her. When I asked her for a copy of the codes and why the cadets could not stay there, she produced nothing. And I've sent out about 8 emails to her on this matter, and she hadn't responded to any of them. Myself and my executive officer, Patty Wood, also met with Mayor Barlow on this matter and brought to his attention some of the issues. One of them being the fire extinguishers were not in code. They were last checked in 2012. So we told Mayor Barlow that we have a person within our Sea Cadet Corps who has a fire extinguisher business and would be willing to service them at no cost to the city. She will donate her services provided that we were allowed to use the building. And I also told Mayor Barlow that we have parents who have a wide variety of skills and would be willing to fix up anything or help fix anything to get the building up to codes. Mayor Barlow agreed, and then when we had chatted, he asked if January would be a good time for us to get back in the building. When I tried to contact him, his office referred me to then Fire Chief Jeff McCroby, who stated absolutely not. I was told the reason we could not stay in the building is because it wasn't up to codes. Well, then how were we able to stay there for the last 12 years? How are other groups like Harborfest, senior citizen groups in there? And how does the music hall occupy the building and have events in this building if it is not up to code? In seeing, Oswego has secured a $10 million grant from the state of New York for the city to upgrade certain items, but they will not invest any money in the youth programs which keep our kids off the streets and help out the community. So again, I'm asking permission from the Common Council for the Oswego Sea Cadet Unit to conduct overnight training once a month for 9 months, which I stated earlier, not for sleeping purposes, but to train our youth on important and valuable skills that will help them along in their life and as well as their career. I'd like to thank each and every one of the Common Council and the Mayor for listening to us today and considering our proposal.
I'm Patty Wood. I'm also the XO of the Truxton Division. We've been at the McCroby building for quite some time. I won't waste too much more of your time. But we would like to say thank you for you listening to us, and hopefully you can grant us our overnights so we can get these cadets back on track. Some of our cadets have joined our military. Some of our cadets are overseas right now fighting for our freedom that we have today. So we're asking permission, and if you could grant us these overnights for our cadets. Thank you.
I'm Ensign Chasen. I'm the medical officer, and I just want to thank everybody, and this is a great program. If anybody ever wants to come down and check it out, we're usually there on Saturdays, the 3rd Saturday of the month. Anybody can come down and check it out. Thank you again.
I have one more thing to add. As far as insurance is concerned, I know it's a big thing today. Our Sea Cadet National headquarters takes out $1 million policy, so anything that would happen in the building, if kids got hurt, if anything happened, we have our own policy, so that would not be fall back on the city.
My daughter's one of the Sea Cadets, and I served 10 years in the Navy, and I know how important it is to learn about watch standing, overnight watches, and looking out for your other personnel. And it's very important for these people, these kids, to learn this valuable skill if they decide to go in the service like my daughter wants to do. So I would really hope that you would consider what they're asking. I have no objections at all to what they're doing. There's always someone that will be awake at all times with them. I think it's great, and I think it's really important. Thank you.
My name is Carol Kreller. My son is a member of the Sea Cadets. He has been for about 2 years now. In those 2 years, I have seen him absolutely blossom. The benefits that he has gotten from this program are beyond description. He's so much more confident, and just the way he carries himself when he's with the cadets. This is the most amazing program for youth I have ever seen. And when he first started, his very first drill was an overnight drill. He loved it. He learned watching that night. And it's an important part of what he wants to learn how to do. And why not let him start learning it now at 15 instead of waiting until he's joined the military 3 or 4 years down the road? And to speak to the insurance aspect, the parents of every child who's in this Sea Cadet unit, they are aware this is sort of military. They know there are risks. We have all accepted the risk. We've all written it down on paper. We know what they're getting into, and we know that there will be somebody awake the whole time. Please let them do this.
My name is Courtney Burns. I am the lead petty officer as of right now of the Truxton Division. I have been in this division for 2 years. The first day that I actually went there and I started up was the first day that I was allowed to sleep over. Sleeping over is a huge part of their military bearing and learning to get further in life. Your military is, your basic training for your military is teaching you all about these things. But these cadets, when they enlist or whenever they decide to do, they're already going to be a step ahead. These overnights help with family bonding. This is what we're based on. We're based on a family. Those overnights help us be a family. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Charles Chasen. I've been in the Sea Cadet program for about my 7th year, I believe. The Sea Cadet Corps has been an immense help to my life. I've seen kids go into this that have been, they come from very different backgrounds. They come from awful backgrounds. They come from great backgrounds. And they mature and blossom throughout this program. I find myself maturing twice as fast through this program. And the overnights helped immensely because you're pushed to your mental and physical limits during those times. You're tired. You want to stop watching that door because we're up all night watching, making sure, walking around, making sure nothing has gone wrong in the building. This program is beautiful. It's one of the little wonders of Oswego, I believe. I'd like to thank the council and the mayor and everyone standing behind me and beside me for coming today and listening. Please consider this change. This would be great. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Joshua Cornish. I've been in the Naval Sea Cadets for 2 years now. When I first started, we were able to spend overnights. When we stayed overnights, we were able to learn a lot more stuff. And when we were learning more about the military, it enforced our lives a lot more on how to act and be mature adults instead of little children. And when we were staying overnights, it didn't give us a strict time limit to learn stuff. Now we only have so many hours to stay. It's very hard for us to learn a lot of stuff like we used to. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Bridget Wallach. I'm Joshua Cornish's mother. And he started when he was 10, and I have seen him mature for 2 years through them. And that's his second family away from home. And when they stopped his overnights, he said that they don't have time to be the family they were. They didn't get to do the overnight watches. They didn't get to do the pier watches and everything that they were doing. Now they get 7 hours or 8 hours, and we have to pick them back up. So please consider it. It's very upsetting to the kids that they can't do what their training is supposed to do. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yep, thank you. Thanks for coming. The second speaker signed up, Sean Mooney.
Good evening, Council. My name is Sean Mooney. I've lived in Oswego for over 20 years. I graduated from Oswego High School. I currently attend Oswego State University. Though some may not think so, during the winter months, Oswego truly is a beautiful town. I've grown to love and appreciate the natural beauty and history behind Oswego. Oswego is a very unique and beautiful town with so much history. Anyone who lives in this community knows of the history and appreciates its roots. I'm proud and humbled to be able to tell people that I grew up here, and Oswego is a hidden gem. With that said, I come forth today to bring about and introduce a new idea to the city of Oswego. I've come to learn of the recent decisions regarding the restoration and expansion projects around the city of Oswego. I would love to see and hope to see this town expand and transform into a new-looking and prosperous city through the new ideas, new businesses, and new activities, etc. With expansion and prosperity comes new ideas, experimentation, ambition, and hard work. From what I've learned in business school so far, to convert or grow anything into success and prosperity, it takes a handful of well-thought-out steps. If managed correctly, eventually each step will all fit in and work together to achieve and conquer such success. Every project and idea that will be brought to life from this expansion will continue to work together with the people and the community over time to help build the community and the community economy. With time, this community growth will sprout, produce, and expand beauty, citizen appreciation, and overall capital for Oswego, New York. As much as I love Oswego and have grown an absolute next level appreciation for the city, I do feel as if our appreciation and overall city impression has fallen low and does not portray the fairness and true identity of Oswego, New York. More importantly, portraying towards people or outsiders, tourists to Oswego. I know this can be changed, and I'm glad to see the first step in action. I couldn't be more excited for this town. It's so beautiful with so much potential. I believe ideas and opportunities like this are exactly what Oswego needs. We have a great small town with historical background and beautiful downtown and incredible location. I believe what we need as a community is a new look and new ideas regarding Oswego. If properly visioned and provided the correct change and new look, Oswego could primarily completely change its overall city appearance and community satisfaction. This change of appearance will only help Oswego grow and prosper in the future. With a new downtown, we will attract more community activity and appreciation. This may lead to more community businesses, growth, and prosperity. As well as over time, people from beyond outside of Oswego may hear of this new downtown area and eventually visit Oswego, leading to more faces, new ideas, and community growth. I believe the city expansion is a great step in the future to the new look of Oswego. My idea regards a form of art that normally isn't noticed around this area and quite frankly isn't the most appreciated. Skateboarding. Yes, I know skateboarding. It's not everyone's favorite sport to hear of. It's not everyone's favorite form of art. I completely understand, but please hear me out. Many people look down upon this sport, and for the past few years, I've tried to figure out how to change that. While in California, I was able to experience the famous beach of Los Angeles. As I walked along the beach, I eventually came across the world-famous Venice Beach Outdoor Skate Park. This fully concrete park was so beautiful while directly on the beach, staring out into the Pacific Ocean. As I sat there and looked around, I observed endless amounts of tourists and ultimately absolutely irrelevant people to the sport of skateboarding sit there and watch with fascination and awe. Endless amounts of people would come and go simply to observe in happiness and curiosity as they watched and were entertained by the beautiful and rarely seen sport of skateboarding and biking. Also, while in Chicago, I was able to walk along the beautiful city lake walk along with the Great Lake Michigan. Eventually, like Venice, I came across the Grant Park Outdoor Skate Plaza. With the same concept, except on Lake Michigan, I sat and watched with the rest of the crowd as riders in the park created and displayed unique forms of art. I couldn't believe how much people were actually finding interest and ultimately truly enjoyed sitting down and watching the sport of skateboarding take place right in front of them. It's not something you see every day. I come today because I believe Oswego has the potential to do so as well. There's a piece of land, and better yet, a piece of concrete, located directly off the Oswego Riverwalk and to the left of the once great Irish pub, Coleman's. I'm honestly not sure if the city even has access to this piece of land or not, and I apologize if I'm wasting any of your time. I feel so passionate about this. I look at this location every single day as I walk into Infinity Fitness across the street. I can't help but think and imagine the potential for the spot in the community. This location currently holds a concrete slab with nothing but a single concrete ledge. This location is currently what I believe an eyesore. With that said, I've been able to study, observe, and experiment ideas regarding how this land may be utilized, transformed into an eye candy community growth experiment and attraction. My idea is to transform and build this concrete slab into a small outdoor skate plaza. The reason I say plaza is because I personally feel that if correctly built and designed, this simple piece of land may look as a beauty, creativity, art, and culture for the city of Oswego. This plaza would not be a regular, simple-looking skate park. The central idea behind this plaza is to place an eye candy or a point of interest for anyone exploring or simply enjoying the Riverwalk. My idea is that a person casually walking the river may come across this plaza and ultimately find interest in hanging out and watching this rare and unique form of art, which is skateboarding. When I get to the end of the Riverwalk on the west side, it ultimately turns into nothing and boring. Nothing but open land. I know we can change this, and I know we can utilize this location. The plaza could be simple but absolutely beautiful with the correct design, meanwhile staying within a reasonable and small budget. A simple ramp and obstacle layout for the riders, but a very attractive and alluring urban plaza look with art sculptures, concrete planters, gardens, all within the plaza. I believe this will give people a different idea of the sport and the culture of Oswego. They will see respectable, beautiful-looking sides to it and may eventually even find interest in watching. Along with watching the riders, people will be able to observe and appreciate the beauty of the new look of this land and reminisce of the unutilized past. While I was able to attend before closing, I personally believe that the old skate park of Oswego, New York, may have placed a rather bad look and reputation on the sport. This plaza will be the exact opposite. This plaza will bring out art and culture in Oswego, New York. This plaza will bring riders from Oswego to downtown, providing community activity and healthy growth. Friends and myself currently have to drive all the way up to Syracuse just to enjoy having some fun skating around at a plaza just like this idea. With that said, we don't mind going up there. We look forward to it because it's a great time and no one bothers you. This plaza will do the exact same thing. Tourists and out-of-towners will come into town simply like we traveled to Syracuse for, to skate the plaza and have fun. These riders may get hungry or even thirsty or even need new equipment. They will eventually spend money and provide business to the local businesses. Over time, as I stated earlier, this plaza will work in with the rest of the communal expansion and help grow the community and its capital. This plaza may attract river walkers as well as tourists to go for and enjoy walks all the way to the end of the Riverwalk. It could eventually get to the point where someone states, hey, let's go to the river and watch the new skateboarders at the new skate plaza. This plaza may be heavily monitored by law enforcement as they will have absolute direct view and will be able to watch for any criminal mischief. I would like this plaza to be a place to expand ideas, create art, and communal appreciation. In regards to rules and regulations, I'm not 100% sure on how that would go, but I'm sure we could figure something out. This plaza will ultimately be a piece of artwork for the city of Oswego. I have a feeling most people think this may not be the best idea simply based on the idea that is revolved around advertising skateboarding. I get that. The ultimate reason I came up with this idea is because I want to build a piece of art and help the growth of Oswego, New York. Another reason is because I believe the culture of skateboarding and the culture of art and creativity has been diminished and reached its all-time low in the history of Oswego. This has led the community to turn its back on the sport and over time other unique forms of creativity and art. Some may state that we have a current skate park ran by the YMCA. This park is not reasonable, and I believe that it's a waste of resources, money, and cultural community appearance. It gives skateboarding a bad look. When people walk by the YMCA skate park, they normally stare in with disgust and unpleasantly, simply because of the overall look and the appearance of this park. It hasn't been kept up, it continues to get worse, and the usage has declined because no one wants to ride this terrible excuse. I grew up and have played sports I grew up and have played sports for over 20 years. I played varsity sports all 4 years of high school, and I still continue to work on myself and and maintain my health. While I grew up in the ice rink, I also grew up snowboarding and skateboarding. The reason I bring up sports is because I like to consider myself a unique example of someone who can do both. Anyone can be part of anything, anyone can be a part of skateboarding and art. No one should worry about what people may think of them. If it makes you happy, give it your best. I'm an athlete who has always been very well behaved, hardworking, and ambitious. Meanwhile, I still find that inner interest for the love of free experimentation on a skateboard. With that said, I find myself today with no opportunity to ride or experiment through this sport anywhere. While I have grown to love the YMCA park, the conditions and hours of operation have driven me and the majority of the skateboard community away. This has forced anyone who wants to simply go have some fun while riding around and doing some tricks with friends to search for newer, safe spots to ride, hoping not to get yelled at by a pedestrian or have the Oswego City Police Department called on them. This also forces riders to drive to Syracuse, Mexico, or Hannibal just for a skate park, when all we want to do is stick around Oswego and enjoy the beautiful area, the beautiful weather, and the beautiful community. I currently go to school for business. I'm ambitious, and I strive to work for a professional ski company in the future. I'm currently involved in an internship with a skateboarding, clothing, and board company based out of Destiny, USA, and Syracuse, New York. I help search and find new forms of marketing expansion through photography and cinematography for the company. My experience has been amazing. I've learned so much and have accomplished so much. With that said, not all has been fun and games. While simply searching for spots to skateboard for company advertising, films, and photographs, I've been harassed, tormented, physically threatened, and legally threatened a handful of times. I've had to deal with law enforcement and very rude, unfair citizens. I'm not a mean person. I'm not a bad person. I'm a student and an athlete. I completely understand and respect that some people don't want it done on their property. With that said, I show nothing but respect in adulthood as I calmly apologize and try to befriend whomever they might be. I have learned that many people aren't fans of Out East. If you look at the West Coast, the sport has become so popular and economically sound. The sport of skateboarding has even been televised on ESPN for the past 7 years. I'm not here to promote skateboarding. I'm not here to promote any bad behavior or bad art. My goal is to no longer be looked at as a bad person simply for holding a piece of wood in my hands. I'm here because I care about Oswego, I know its potential, and I have an idea that I personally feel will help grow and expand the community, the culture, and the economy of the beautiful port city. I don't see this as a skate park. I see this as a piece of art for the city of Oswego, an activity, and a contributor to the community of Oswego. I don't know if I'll be around Oswego for too many more years after I graduate. I will have to move forward and endure my professional career and ultimately pay off my student loans. But I would truly love to be able to say that I made a real, true impact on this beautiful city while I still could. I see the ideas and designs for the future of Oswego. I love the ambition, and I would love to be a part of it. I know if properly planned, budgeted, and executed, this idea of mine will fit right in with the rest of the designs. On top of that, it will be an incredible contributor to the new look and new culture of Oswego, New York. I don't publicly speak very often, so I did have to kick myself to get up here, but I hope you all see how passionate I am and the true opportunity that comes along with this idea. We could get it done with a reasonably low budget cost, and have a beautiful piece of art and activity for the port city. Again, I don't mean to promote skateboarding or any bad behavior tonight. I don't mean to waste anyone's time. I simply would love to see the art and culture of this town grow, expand, and ultimately produce growth among the community and economy. I thank you for taking the time to listen to me and allowed me to speak my mind. I hope we can at least consider this idea, and I would be happy to provide further detail in the future. Regardless of whether it's even in the ballpark of an actual opportunity or not, I had to at least say I got up and tried to make a change for the beautiful city of Oswego. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Thanks for coming. The next speaker is Heath Jones.
My name is Heath Jones, 130 East 3rd Street. Before I even start, I know that may have been a little bit more than some of you were expecting, but how great is it that we have a SUNY Oswego student that's willing to step up and bring one of his ideas to the table. So I just personally wanted to thank him for his efforts and his thought that he put into his presentation. But today, I'm here to say thank you to everyone that helped out with the 2017 Oswego County Paddle Fest. It was a huge success. I know that with the flooding and with some changes, it was hard to put that idea on the table, and some of us worked really quickly to get that presented and forward, and we appreciate your efforts in that. And I have to say that, as all things, we've been doing this for 5 years. Create's been involved with it for 4 of those 5 years. And each year it gets better and better. And each year the communication gets better, the safety team gets stronger, we feel more confident, and we make minor adjustments to make it more enjoyable for the people that are participating. But I have to say that this year, above and beyond, our safety team, including the fire department, has been just amazing. Like, it flowed so easily, and it was so smooth that I think we all kind of sat back after it was over and we weren't that typical exhausted, like, oh my gosh, we're glad this is done. Like, we were like invigorated with new ideas and how we can make more changes in the future. And then also to DPW, they were present. They had their staff members come and just make sure everything was okay. The Marine Museum was absolutely amazing and a lifesaver to let us partner with them. And I will say that standing there, and you can talk about this too, standing there with the hustle and bustle of the paddlers coming in and the lines for the tall ships, and then the people, the foot traffic walking all through that area, and it was so inspiring to see so many people come out for that. I mean, it was almost like Harbor Fest traffic for our waterfront. So I applaud everybody that had anything to do with it, and I thank everyone for supporting us. Like I said, I know that we kind of put it through pretty quickly. Mayor Barlow, you were amazing, and we didn't give you guys a lot of time to work through those things. We are hoping to keep the same weekend, so the Saturday before Paddle Fest, as the date for Paddle Fest, to kind of give us some perspective moving forward, and to be able to plan that as a community event every year. So we appreciate your support this year and hope you'll continue to support it in the future. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Heath, and thanks for putting Paddle Fest on. You did a great job. Next speaker, Jean Mazzoli.
Hello, I'm Jean Mazzoli. I have been raising money for the Marshall Dams over 40 years now. I am here to ask the council if they may help donate to this great cause to help continue the health of mothers and the babies. Thank you for your time.
Very good, thank you. Next speaker, John Amadio. Okay, good to go. And last speaker, Mercedes Niece.
Honorable Mayor, Council, wanted to give you a little report. We had a great little event this last 3 days, and we pushed over 8,000 people through at the festival, beyond my expectations. I did have a conservative idea of Mercedes Niece, 128 Erie Street, 5th Ward, blah, blah, blah. H. Lee White Maritime Museum. Sorry. So excited after all this going on this evening. So anyway, we exceeded our expectations. We exceeded the expectations of the tall ships. So I think I can get them to do a festival again. Usually they just show up and want to open their doors. There's an awful lot involved, and it's years of relationship building, not just with this ship, but with all the ships. And this goes back to Captain Dick Fund and all the years that he put in working with a lot of the captains of these ships to make them aware that Oswego is a great place for a tall ship event. This is the biggest festival the H. Lee White Maritime Museum has ever had. Our last one was 6,000 people. I had over 120 shifts filled by our volunteers. My staff worked critical positions, So it was a lot of effort. We're all bushed, but we're just very proud of what we accomplished and what this community is about. We're happy and pleased. We knew we could do it, accommodating Paddle Fest. Worked out beautifully, I think. Some of you might be aware that we had a Native American presence at the festival. I invited the neighbors of the Onondaga Nation when I had been made aware of their concern about the Nina and Pinta's interpretation of being Columbus ships and all that, and how they viewed that. So I invited them to have a table at our Maritime Village, as we called it, and they were in a key location where they could share their point of view with all the visitors that came by. So this outreach effort, I think, worked to our advantage. Working with the local law enforcement, which I notified everyone ahead of time, the mayor, they were really on top of things. They knew about it. They knew about the things that went on in Albany, which were not very good. There was heated words. There was barring of the ship gangways and all that. So our goal was to let them have their voice and welcome that, because we are an educational institution, but also to have a peaceful conversation. And I think that was accomplished, and I am really proud of Oswego and how we dealt with the controversy that could have blown up in our face, but it didn't. There was a protest, but it was a peaceful protest, and we welcome them. I applaud Paddle Fest. They did not have to help pull folks out of the water that came in canoes and kayaks, but they did. I think, again, it showed how we can be very welcoming in Oswego. The visitors, I did not hear anybody be belligerent to anybody else, one way or the other. So, it was just really a proud moment for me. I'd like to thank the city for all the support of our event. Again, law enforcement was terrific. Bill Dexter at the Railroad Museum did all the parking by his museum. And he also cleaned out the Fort Oswego Rock, which a lot of people were looking at. It had a few weeds in it. And you have to actually put up a ladder inside and outside to go up and in, right? So he cleaned that all out. And I know Rosemary Nesbitt and Fred Crisafulli are smiling because it looks great. I need to thank our neighbors, S-Rock Cement, now called Lehigh Cement. Our goal was to have many visitors but not impede any of their truck traffic, and that was done very nicely. The city tourism table was a great addition, and thanks Rob and Eva for setting it up, taking it down, moving it around, dragging things in, and really promoting everything Oswego. And also John was there at the table, and Nate and his daughter, and quite a few other people were there to talk about all the great things we have going on here. Could not have done it without Oswego County Tourism and Step One Creative and Brookfield Power. They really showed, how you need a little bit of money to market yourself. And so we did an excellent job with that. So I think we have something to be proud of, and I know this ship is going to come back. These ships are going to come back, and we'll capture any others that might be coming our way in the future, and continue to have a smile on our face this week as we enter Harbor Fest. Thank you.
Thank you, Mercedes. Miles, you want to cap this off?
I don't know how anybody would have come over on them boats across the Atlantic Ocean. You guys in the Navy will never find that out when you get on those aircraft carriers, because that would have engulfed it completely. I flew over the Pacific in BOAC. I don't know what the hell they're talking about them boats for. I wouldn't want to be on that boats in the ocean. Thank you, Bill.
Okay. Would anyone else like to sign up or like to speak and address the council? Seeing none, I will close public session and call to order the regular meeting. Will you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's call the roll.
Counselor Reynolds.
Here.
Counselor McLaughlin. Counselor Emmons.
Here.
Counselor Walker. Counselor Gosick. Counselor Van Buren. Counselor Cordino.
Here.
All present.
Thank you. I just have one item under the mayor's report, and that is to mention and honor a distinguished member of our community that we lost a few days ago. It was John Canale. He passed away on Tuesday, July 18th. John served on our Common Council representing the 3rd Ward for over 20 years and dedicated many, many years to educating Oswego's children and the Oswego community, still substitute teaching for the school district, even at age 93, just before he passed. So in addition, he was obviously a wonderful husband, father, grandfather, and just an all-around great guy. I had the pleasure to know John the last few years. He actually was my substitute teacher a few times and always admired him and cherished his World War II Battle of the Bulge story. So if we could have a moment of silence in honor of John. Thank you. That's all I have. Do any counselors have anything they'd like to add? Counselor Courtney.
Thank you, Mayor. I know this weekend was a very busy weekend, and we've already heard from Joan and his niece on this, but I did want to chime in real quick. As both of you mentioned, between Paddle Fest and the tall ships, the Nina and the Pinta, arriving this weekend, it was a very, very busy weekend. We had, as you said, about 8,000. The Promotion and Tourism Advisory Board set up a tent earlier, and we promoted our community with the distribution of literature, promoting our city and area attractions, occasionally telling them where the bathroom was. Need more signs on that point. Also giving them directions on area restaurants and things like that. At this time, I'd like to thank and recognize several people who helped the Promotion and Tourism Advisory Board. First and foremost, Mercedes Niece, the Maritime Museum, who invited the city to participate this weekend, and all the museum volunteers, especially Rich Bush and his daughter Liz, who helped me a great deal when we were shorthanded. It takes more than one person to set up one of those pop-up tents, I found out. So their hands came in handy. In addition, the following people gave up a part of their weekend to staff the tent. Ida and Tom Fox, Linda DeMasi, Eva Corradino, Alan Clark, Nate Emmons, and John Gosick. Thank you very much for stepping up to help get the word out to the visitors about our wonderful city. PTAB is planning to have the city event tent this weekend during Harbor Fest. And if you'd like to participate in the tent, I'd be happy to take any and all volunteers after the meeting. Thank you again, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other counselors have anything they'd like to add? Seeing none, clerk, please call Resolution 268.
Approve minutes Common Council meeting held July 10th, 2017.
Councilor McLaughlin, Councilor Van Buren. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call Resolution 269.
Approve use of public space, Robert Reebok, owner of a two-family dwelling located at 142 West Seneca Street, in order to install a new 4-foot fence.
Councilor Reynolds, Councilor Emmons. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick. Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call Resolution 270.
Approve use of public space, Patricia Faith, owner of a single-family dwelling located at 106 East 7th Street, in order to install a one-car parking area.
Councilor Walker, Counselor McLaughlin. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call Resolution 271.
Accept donation of a park bench to be placed in Brightbeck Park in memory of Hanlon McDonald.
Counselor Reynolds, Counselor Cordino. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick. Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call Resolution 272.
Accept donation of a park bench from Kathleen Russo in order to in memory of her father and his military service.
Counselor McLaughlin, Counselor Van Buren. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick. Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call Resolution 273.
Approve proposed amendments to the Code of the City of Oswego, Chapter 249, Vacant and Occupied Properties, Section 249-7D, Dumpster Requirements Permit Fee.
Counselor Gozick, Counselor Emmons. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick. Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call Resolution 274.
Approve proposed change of zone for certain property located in the 7th Ward from an R2 residential district to a B2 central business district. Petition of Paul and Tina Sawyer.
Counselor Van Buren, Counselor Emmons. Any comments? Counselor Van Buren.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to table item number 274.
A second, Counselor Emmons. Clerk, please call the roll to table.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes to table.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes. To table.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes to table.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick. Counselor Van Buren.
Yes to table.
Counselor Cordino.
Yes to table.
Resolution passes 7-0.
The resolution is tabled. Clerk, please call Resolution 275.
Authorize mayor to sign change order number 3 with Marcellus Construction Company Incorporated for project modifications to the combined sewer separation project, second 25%.
Counselor Reynolds, Counselor Cordino. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick. Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call Resolution 276.
Authorize mayor to enter a 5-year lease agreement with Latatro LLC for the Oswego Rental Assistance Program.
Counselor Gozick, Counselor Reynolds. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick. Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call Resolution 277.
Authorize mayor to enter a 5-year lease agreement with Pathfinder Bank for the Community and Economic Development Program.
Counselor McLaughlin, Counselor Van Buren. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick. Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call Resolution 278.
Authorize Community Development Director to submit a funding application to the Central New York Regional Economic Development Council for waterfront development.
Counselor Gozick, Counselor Cordino. If you recall back last year, we did our waterfront feasibility study and held several public engagement meetings. Last year, we also applied for a CFA for some waterfront projects and received $590,000, to which the city is matching. So this year, we want to continue executing some projects that were identified in that waterfront feasibility study. That's why our CFA focus this year is primarily on waterfront projects in that plan. This CFA identifies the Harbor Trail improvements, which is the trail at the bottom around Brightbeck Park, between Brightbeck Park and the lake. It also We'll identify some proposed improvements to the pier and also a welcome and fishing charter kiosk down. So we'll be applying this. Applications are due on the 28th. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Gosick? Yes. Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call Resolution 279.
Authorize Community Development Director to submit a funding application to the Central New York Regional Economic Development Council for City Hall preservation.
Counselor Gozick, Counselor Emmons. The other CFA we're going to apply for this year will be to receive some money for the City Hall restoration. The most we can apply for under this CFA is $500,000, so we'll apply for the max amount. Obviously, the council authorized us to update our restoration report from the firm that conducted the initial comprehensive report a few years ago. That report came back today. Just generally speaking, it identifies $1.5 million needed in repairs for replacing the gutters around City Hall to fix some portions of the roof, a partial rebuild for this wall behind me with the masonry and brick and mortar work that needs to be done, and another $775,000 for work that needs to be done to the elevator service tower. So that totals about an identified $2.3 million total. So we'll dissect that, put it into this application, apply for $500,000 to at least get some of that work started. Any comments from the council? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Gosick? Yes. Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call Resolution 280.
Authorize Community Development Director to receive proposals for implementation services for the proposed 2017 waterfront development project.
Councilor Reynolds, Councilor Gozick. Again, this relates back to the $590,000 we won last year, and this proposal is work to be done with Edgewater Resources, which is the firm that we've dealt with from the beginning that has conducted the initial feasibility study. Any comments from the council? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Gosick? Yes. Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call Resolution 281.
Approve bid submitted by Northern Labor LLC for the 2017 street milling and paving project.
Councilor Emmons, Councilor Cordino. This is previous meetings we identified the streets that we put in the bid. That bid went out and the bids came back. The low bid was $498,000. So this resolution is to accept that bid. Obviously, that is well below the CHIPS allocation we have, so we've already sized up some additional streets like West Cayuga from 104 to 5th Street, Barrack Street in the 5th Ward, where the consent decree work was done previously. So we're going to spec these streets up. They're going to do this work, and then when we will take the balance of what's left and move that forward to have that done as well this year. Obviously, those numbers are subject to change. I would be prepared for maybe a change order or two out of this bid. That's just the nature of the business when they run into issues while they're doing the project. So the distance on those streets and the amount of paving extra that we'll do may vary, but generally, if we have extra, they're going to be the two streets that we go after. Any comments from the council? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Gosick? Yes. Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call Resolution 282.
Approve permit fees for temporary and permanent dumpsters.
Councilor Van Buren, Councilor Walker. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Gosick? Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call Resolution 283.
Approve food vendor location map.
Counselor Gozick, Counselor Walker. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick. Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call Resolution 284.
Approve transfer of funds from the contingent account to the Animal Control Personal Services Overtime account.
Counselor Reynolds, Counselor Emmons. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick. Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call Resolution 285.
Approve attendance at the activated sludge course to be held at SUNY Morrisville Environmental Training Center from August 27th to August 31st, 2017. Request of the wastewater department.
Counselor Emmons, Counselor Gozick. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick. Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Will Clerk please call Resolution 286?
Waive rules of common council to present resolution number 287 from the floor without committee consideration.
Counselor Cordino, Counselor Emmons. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
No.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick. Counselor Van Buren.
No.
Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Resolution passes 5-2.
Clerk, please call Resolution 287.
Authorize mayor to enter into an agreement with W.D. Malone Trucking and Excavating Incorporated for the Route 48 Emergency Slope Stabilization and Highway Repairs Project.
Counselor Cordino, Counselor Van Buren. Back, I can't remember the exact month, I want to say March or April of 2016, we had the collapse on Route 48. That is obviously State Route 48, but it's within city limits, so when the collapse occurred, we were informed, unfortunately, that it would be the city's responsibility to fix the collapse. We didn't like that answer, so we went back and tried to work something out in which the negotiation, if that's the way you want it, came back and said that they could find 95%, they could fund 95% of the project. The city would still be responsible for 5% of the project. But the catch was we had to wait until fall of 2017 to have the work performed. At that time, the proposed price tag on the total project was about $2.5–3 million, so that seemed like the practical choice from the city's perspective, so that's what we went with. So this resolution, time-sensitive, in my opinion, maybe Councilor Cordino agrees, to get the work moving rather than wait another 3 weeks. By the time we have the next council meeting, the bids just closed today, so I wanted to get this on the council floor to approve it tonight rather than wait 3 weeks. The council has been provided with all the bids that were submitted. The lowest bid is by W.D. Malone Trucking at just under $1.4 million. So that is the bid naturally we're going to select to conduct the work. And the proposed timeline on this work is to have the project completed by Thanksgiving or around Thanksgiving. So I know I'm excited to get the road fixed and opened back up. I think the state and federal government, who are combined supplying 95% of the project cost, because we certainly couldn't afford that 95%. That will be a reimbursement process, so we'll front the money and be reimbursed. Any comments from the council? Councilor Cordino.
On behalf of the 7th Ward residents, especially on Murray Street, Munn Street, 48, we thank you and the whole council for getting this work done. I know, unfortunately, it took a year and a half, or yeah, it's been a year and a half at this point to get this done, but we're all looking forward to, in our neighborhood, less noise and less traffic. So looking forward to it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none, will clerk please call the roll?
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick. Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call Resolution 288.
Waive rules of common council to present resolution number 289 from the floor without committee consideration.
This is one. Counselor Gozick, Counselor Reynolds. Any comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
No.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gosick. Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Resolution passes 6-1.
Clerk, please call Resolution 289.
Authorize mayor to sign change order number 4 with Marcellus Construction Incorporated, project modifications to the combined sewer separation project, second 25%.
Counselor Gozick, Counselor Emmons. Believe it or not, this is a far cry from the first phase of the sewer separation project, but this phase of the sewer separation project is coming in under budget and ahead of schedule. And I just thank DPW Commissioner Tom Kells, Clerk of the Works Robert McGrath, and City Engineer Bob Johnson, and Randy Cameron from GHD. They have these weekly site meetings. They relay information back to me. We take in feedback and mostly criticisms from the constituents nearby, and we pour all that into these weekly meetings we have and these emails we have to keep pushing the contractor forward, to keep pushing the entire project forward, and to make it as convenient as possible to the residents that live in that area. So generally, the entire team has worked well together with Marcellus Construction, with GHD, and with the city team, and I've made sure that it's important to me, and I'm sure Councilor Gozick has made it a point to talk to his constituents directly that we move this project forward as fast as we can, and we're doing just that. So it's, as of today, it's ahead of schedule, also under budget. So this is a change order really of $0, but it takes the amount that we're under, about $250,000, and puts it towards paving. Excuse me, it's not $250,000. $126,000, decreasing the allowance from $74,000. And we will entirely pave the streets that are being torn up right now. So this essentially is a resolution to pave Niagara Street from West 1st to West 4th, Albany Street from West 1st to West 4th, and West 3rd from Niagara to Varick. And if you drive those streets now, Councilor Gozick can tell you it's not a pleasant experience. We happen to live in that neighborhood, and it's not really that fun. So, and I don't think the constituents have much fun pulling in and out of their driveways and going to work. So this will come in the budget that was set for the project initially. We'll get this work done, and even, I mean, you can even back up. And if you go to the consent decree work that was done in the 7th Ward last time, the roads still really aren't where they should be. So we'll have to address those. But we'll make these roads look brand new when this work is complete, which should be in the next few weeks, and hopefully win over the constituents that maybe are a little not entirely happy right now. Any comments from the council? Councilor Gozick. Thank you. We just brought this off the floor because, again, the next meeting's 3 weeks from now. They're there doing the work now, and we'd like to get this submitted as soon as we can. Any other comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Gosick? Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
I have a motion to adjourn. Counselor Van Buren, Counselor Emmons. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yep.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Gosick? Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Meeting is adjourned.